Hi guys, my name is Tanya and I am an FHI 360 Dreams ambassador. So Dreams is a program for adolescents, girls and young women which focuses on providing them with the necessary leadership skills for HIV prevention. Its target group is mainly the ages between 15 and 24 because this age group is at a higher risk of contracting HIV due to a variety of socio-economic and biological reasons. Some of these reasons include issues to do with poverty, gender-based violence, cultural and religious norms, as well as generally limited access to health services. So today I'm just going to be talking about intergenerational relationships, and I want to look at how they're causing the acceleration of HIV transmission amongst adolescents, girls, and young women. To start off, I just want to define what intergenerational relationships are. So, intergenerational relationships are relationships between two different generations. You have the older generation in the relationship for sexual favors, while the younger generation is in the relationship for monetary favors. So, it's more of transactional sex for money. But then now the younger generation is in this relationship because it wants monetary favors, as I said. It wants the food allowances, the clothing allowances, the car rides to and from school. That is why they are there. And we're saying, what really causes these intergenerational relationships? What is pushing the adolescents, girls, and young women to get into relationships with the older generation? The first point of call is poverty. With the current economic situation in this country, things are bad for everyone. It's now survival of the fittest. But now we have seen the younger generation opting to get into intergenerational relationships to take care of themselves because they claim that they're poor. They claim that they need the money to take care of their families. They claim they need the money to take care of their siblings. Some even say that. They say that we do not have the needs that we want. So at the end of the day, we have opted to go and prostitute ourselves so that we get money, so that we can take care of ourselves. The other reason that most adolescents, girls, and young women are getting into these intergenerational relationships is peer pressure. Imagine someone, for example, who's in college, who has a roommate who is engaging in intergenerational relationships. They see that she's getting everything that she wants. She has the clothing allowances. She's changing hairstyles after every 2 weeks. She has the nails done frequently. If you are someone who does not have that willpower, if you're someone who's not strong enough, you'll get carried away because you will be pressured into getting into these intergenerational relationships. We also have these blessers coming in and saying to you, maybe sometimes, for example, they come in to collect your roommate. They say, I have a friend who wants you, who wants to take care of you. You are pressured because you're seeing that your roommate is living the supposedly good life. So this is another reason why we're seeing adolescents, girls, and young women engaging into these intergenerational relationships. Another reason is generally not being content with what you have. I once did a survey to try to determine, is it everyone who is in this relationship who's poor? Is it because your mother is sick? Is it because you want to take care of your family, as they claim? And I realized it's not the case. People generally are not content with what their parents can provide for them. They want the good life. They want the car rides to and from school. They want to eat fancy food. So at the end of the day, they end up prostituting themselves to the older generation to get all these things. Another reason is just generally being irresponsible, because as a generation, we're not responsible with our bodies, we're not responsible with our health. We just take these decisions and do quick decisions without really assessing the effects that they're going to have, the impact that they're going to have on our livelihoods. So these are some of the reasons why we're seeing adolescents, girls, and young women engaging into intergenerational relationships. So what are the effects? Because now I just want to look at what are the effects of these intergenerational relationships. Fine, you have the money. Fine, you have the fancy clothes. You're eating the fancy food. What now? You realize that intergenerational relationships are a key driver of HIV. It's a key driver of the sexually transmitted infections because the younger generation is failing to negotiate for safer sex with this older generation because they are being paid for service delivery. And at the end of the day, they cannot say that I want to use a condom. They cannot say that let's use protection because you're being paid for service delivery. The older generation has been sexually active for a very long time, and you're not the first person that they're having sex with. So at the end of the day, you realize that intergenerational relationships are becoming a key driver in the transmission of HIV amongst adolescents, girls, and young women. Effect number 2 is that of abortions. You realize that these blessers, this older generation, usually comprises of very important people in the society. They are prominent people with businesses, with minds. They have the money. And at the end of the day, they do not want to have a bad reputation. They know that getting in a relationship with the younger generation is a wrong thing. So if by any chance you become pregnant, they will definitely tell you to get rid of that baby. We know that in Zimbabwe abortions are illegal, but they'll give you those abortion pills. And this is a risk to you, this is a risk to your health, because now you can have the cervical cancers, you can have problems giving birth later in life, or becoming pregnant later in life when you really want that baby, because you opted for an abortion due to an intergenerational relationship you had, just because you wanted the fancy life. Another effect is just alcohol and drug abuse, because when you're going out with these blessings, when you're going out with this older generation, you're going out to the bars. That's where they are drinking, some of them even use drugs, and because that's the environment that you're in, those are the type of people you're surrounded by, you opt now to join them. And this is a very dangerous thing, because you're now abusing drugs, you're now abusing alcohol, something that you could have avoided. It has its effect also, because you can't, when you're high, for example, you've been using drugs, that's when you're having sex and you're not even aware of what is going on, and you end up getting these sexually transmitted infections because you were drugged willingly, actually. So these are some of the problems that we have with the intergenerational relationships. So what are the solutions? What can we do to help the younger generation? How can we help them so that we stop the transmission of HIV? Issue number 1 is of empowerment. Really, if you are empowered enough to know what you want, if you are empowered enough to make the right decisions, you will never go wrong. If you know what you want, if you know where you want to go, you will never go wrong. No matter the pressures, no matter how bad people come and pressure you to get into these intergenerational relationships, you know what you want. You know that my parents are struggling to pay for my fees, I want to do certain things for them. It pushes you. It puts you in that place where you say to yourself no to certain things. So this is just one of the most basic things, empowerment. And this is where Dreams is coming in, to empower adolescents, girls and young women to make the right decisions. Because with empowerment even comes ideas. You now have ideas on other income generating projects that you can uptake rather than prostituting your body. You now have people who are keeping chickens, for example, selling eggs. You now have people who are moving around selling chips. You now have people who are going for courses to even do the nails that they want, and then they are making money out of it, because with empowerment, ladies, comes ideas. So let's be empowered enough, let's have that will, because going to the older generation and saying we're going to talk to them, it's a hopeless cause. They'll tell you it's my money, I spend my money the way I want. So as a generation, to close the tap to new infections, to end this, we need to be empowered, because we are a generation and this can be stopped. This has to end. So ladies, I really hope you took your time and you listened and you got what I was trying to say to you. Intergenerational relationships are not a way to go, because they are destroying our generation. 80% of new infections that are being recorded daily are coming from our age group of 15 to 24, and it has to stop. So I really hope you got something from this. We have a Facebook page that is called I Just Want to Be Heard, where we discuss issues frequently. For example, how cultural and religious norms are actually accelerating the spread of HIV. So please go and like our page on Facebook. It's called I Just Want to Be Heard, so that you get information, so that we talk about these issues. We really need to address this, so that our voices end HIV and GBV. Thank you so much for taking your time to listen to me.